My wife and I never imagined that after everything we had been through, we would still have to part ways. Usually, after facing such challenges, people see life differently. But, unfortunately, these experiences taught me valuable lessons while they seemed to teach my ex-wife nothing. This happened 5 years ago. At that time, my wife, Lisa, and I had been married for 15 years. We had a son, Michael, who was in the 8th grade. I loved Lisa just as much as I did in the first year of our marriage. My family meant everything to me. Then, out of nowhere, my beloved wife suddenly announced that she was leaving me. Why? I asked, completely shocked. The only question I could bring myself to say, I found someone else. I'm in love, Lisa replied effortlessly, as if my feelings didn't matter. Her words pierced my heart like a knife. Lisa took my son with her. I didn't resist. I was in a daze, not eating, not drinking. I fell into despair and started drowning my sorrow in alcohol, even though I had never been much of a drinker before. A month later, Michael came back to me. He refused to live with his mother and her new lover. My son's return gave my life a purpose again. I pulled myself together, stopped drinking, and we continued living, just without Lisa. Then, 6 months later, Lisa suddenly appeared at our apartment doorstep again. At first, it seemed like she'd come to see Michael, but he greeted her with nothing but cold hostility. Lisa complained to me that our son had become distant from her. Then, she started reminiscing about our past, how she missed our life together, the times we shared as a family. My heart ached once more because, despite everything, I still loved her. And what about your new love? I asked, smirking. It's over. I've realized that I love only you, my dear, Lisa said with a smile. She seduced me and pleaded to come back. I didn't take long to decide. And to be honest, I was relieved by her return. The longing for my wife had been eating me up from the inside. Besides, I was worried about Michael. How could he be without his mother, especially at such a difficult age, during his teenage years? So I forgave Lisa and allowed her to return, though deep down, the resentment still lingered. We continued living together for another 4 years. Michael graduated from high school and went to college. Over time, everything seemed to fade from memory, and I truly believe that after everything our family had endured, nothing could tear us apart again. I thought we had passed the ultimate test of love, and that Lisa and I would grow old together. But Lisa clearly had different thoughts. This time, I started noticing changes in her behavior. She became even more invested in her looks, stayed late at work, and spent more time meeting up with her friends. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and confronted her. Do you have someone else? I asked directly. To my shock, Lisa wasn't surprised by my question, nor did she try to make excuses. With the same ease as before, she admitted, Yes, I have a lover. I'll be moving in with him this week, so that I don't put you in an uncomfortable position. A chill ran down my spine. Her indifference, her coldness, her betrayal, it all sent shivers through me. I was overwhelmed with resentment and disgust. Something inside me shattered this time for good. Michael stayed with me. He was finishing his first year of college and had a part-time job. He had received a promising job offer, so he planned to switch to independent studies and work full-time. Financially, he was almost entirely self-sufficient. For several weeks, I lived in a deep state of depression, unable to come to terms with Lisa's deceitful betrayal. Michael supported me and one day even said, You shouldn't have forgiven her after the first betrayal. People don't change, you know. I was astonished by my son's wisdom. 3 months later, at a company party, after having a little too much to drink, I made a move on one of my colleagues. Emily had always caught my attention, but while I was married, other women had been completely off limits. To be honest, I never thought she would even notice me. But to my surprise, Emily had feelings for me too. That's how our relationship began. A couple of months later, Emily moved in with me. 6 months after Lisa had left, she suddenly showed up at my doorstep again, using the same excuse, saying she missed our son. Michael wasn't home. I was alone in the house. Lisa started sweet-talking me again, saying how much she missed us and wanted to bring everything back to the way it used to be. I looked at this shameless woman, and all I felt was disgust, nothing else. To all of Lisa's attempt to charm and seduce me, I simply replied, "I've already filed for divorce." She stared at me in disbelief, then snapped, "What's this about? How could you? Last time, everything was fine. What changed?" I looked her in the eyes and said, "I've fallen in love with another woman." Lisa laughed mockingly and said, "That won't last." To that, I simply responded, "Now I finally see what kind of deceitful woman I was married to." Lisa was offended. Without another word, she turned and left, not even saying goodbye. Life moved forward. Emily and I continued living together, and Michael moved out to live with his girlfriend. Emily and I got married, and soon we were expecting a baby. Another 6 months passed, and Lisa came back again. This time, she said she had gotten all the fun out of her system, and that it was enough. She was done. "I've had my revenge, and that's enough now," my ex-wife said. She claimed that we were perfect for each other. I calmly told her that I had remarried, and that Emily and I were expecting a child. Lisa was devastated. Tears streamed down her face as she sobbed that no one needed her anymore, that her young lover had left her. She begged me to leave Emily, pleaded for forgiveness. But this time, I knew I was making the right choice. I chose Emily. I chose my new son. Now I have 2 sons. Michael and his girlfriend often visit us, and they adore spending time with the baby. They're even considering marriage. As for Michael's relationship with his mother, they rarely communicate. He once told me that she still jumps from one lover to another, only to be abandoned in the end. Well, that was her choice, and I had made mine.